Hello, how are you? Many people have been trying to lose weight without getting the results they wanted. They've already tried intermittent fasting and other strategies, but can't get results, or maybe they see results for a little while, and then it kind of seems like everything is stuck. Today, I'm going to tell you about some powerful strategies you can use in your daily life. Whether you keep doing intermittent fasting or you don't like fasting, you can apply the same strategies and get quick, safe, and metabolically backed results. I'm sure you'll love it and it will make a difference for you. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss this. Before we start, I want to ask you if you are in the process of losing weight or not. If you've already been losing weight, how much have you lost? I would love to hear about your success. Or if you're still in the middle of the process, how much do you have left to reach your goal? Or maybe you're just about to start, right? I would love to see your comment. Remember to like the video. That's really important for me here on the channel. This shows YouTube that you support the channel and trust my content, but it's also good for you because YouTube will understand that you like this topic and will send you more content like this. If you know someone who is going through the weight loss process, share this video. Let's expand this chain of kindness together. That's what I want here with the channel. More and more people are talking about fasting as an infallible strategy for weight loss, right? Do fasting and you'll lose weight. We know it's not quite like that. For many people, fasting is very powerful and brings a lot of results. There are people who start seeing results with fasting, but then it stalls, and there are people who can't get results at all, even doing intermittent fasting, and they prefer other weight loss strategies. Fasting, in fact, can be one of the strategies. It's not the only one, but it can be one of the strategies to help you lose weight. Because during fasting, insulin drops, the body starts to release fat, and the organism enters this energy utilization mode. But a lot of people try to use fasting as a standalone solution, and that's where the mistake happens. Because the person fasts, spends that time without eating anything, eats very little, and even so, that abdominal fat doesn't change. The scale doesn't move that much. So, why does that happen? Because many times the person's body adapts. This is a point that is rarely discussed. So, our body is very adaptive. It has these maneuvers, these strategies to make you survive. It doesn't understand that you're trying to lose weight. Remember that when our body was programmed as a species, we didn't have access to food, right? There weren't supermarket shelves for sale or a fridge you could open at midnight to grab a slice of cake if you felt hungry. So when you start restricting too much, either with a very strict diet or poorly done fasting, your energy expenditure will decrease because your body will want to hold on to the energy it still has. Hunger will often increase and your metabolism will become more economical. So it's a metabolic adaptation that can happen to many people. In other words, it's not that fasting isn't working, it's that the body isn't receiving the right signals to burn fat, to use fat as energy efficiently. And this can be very complicated, which is why many people end up frustrated. So let's talk about some things you can change, whether you fast or not, that will actually help you burn more fat. One of the real benefits that the body gets when we fast is the reduction of insulin, right? As I told you. This is important because we know that when insulin is high, the body tends to store more energy. Insulin is an anabolic hormone. So because of that, fat burning is reduced. So when you go several hours without eating, insulin drops and fat release increases. But there's a process that happens with many people. If throughout the day, after your fasting window ends, you keep having constant glucose spikes, fasting can lose part of its effect because the body leaves that beneficial state of lower, more basal insulin. So over time, you may start to develop a certain resistance to insulin. And insulin stays elevated for longer throughout the day, especially when you consume a lot of white bread, white pasta, fast food, sweets, all of that, and the body has a harder time accessing fat. So ideally, yes, fasting helps, especially at that moment. But if, when you break your fast, you eat a lot of sweets, a lot of fast food, frozen lasagna, pizza, and you don't have a balanced diet, you might lose some of the beneficial effect that fasting had during those hours you spent without eating. So ideally, whether you fast or not, you should control the amount and quality of carbohydrates you consume so you can try to keep your insulin at a more basal level, avoid these fluctuations, these big spikes and drops in insulin, and promote this catabolic environment in a more effective way. The second important thing to always remember is protein intake, because fasting without protein can lead to muscle loss. This is one of the most significant mistakes. A lot of people fast but eat little protein or, eat poorly throughout the day. Especially if you are already over 50 years old, you have an effective loss of muscle mass. And we know that muscle is essential because it increases energy expenditure, improves insulin sensitivity, helps use glucose more efficiently. So when we lose muscle mass, which we call sarcopenia, metabolism usually slows down and burning fat becomes more difficult. So it's as if poorly done fasting, with a bad diet and little protein actually works against you because it burns more muscle. and that causes your metabolism to slow down. The problem isn't the fasting, so always remember that usually when we're in the process of losing weight, we need to maintain between 0.5 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day and a high biological value protein. Eggs, meat, chicken, fish, legumes, whey protein, these are good sources throughout the day, and to spread them out over the day to ensure that your body always has this pool of amino acids to maintain and build muscle tissue. Another important thing you need to manage in order to succeed in your weight loss process, whether you fast or not, is to control your gut health. Many people don't talk about this, but the gut can directly influence the success of weight loss because when our gut microbiota is out of balance, we can experience increased inflammation, worsened insulin sensitivity, and changes in satiety hormones. Even the release of ghrelin, leptin, IGF-1, which is closely related to weight loss injections, right? We're talking about this more and more. So, when all of this is out of balance, you may feel hungrier, have more difficulty sticking to your diet, maintaining fasting, and even experience more episodes of binge eating. So, when the gut is balanced, fibers are fermented and produce butyrate, for example, as well as other short-chain fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation, improve sensitivity and response to insulin, and increase satiety. In other words, improving gut function in a broader sense can help you achieve better weight loss results. And what can improve your gut? Fiber, especially chia, flaxseed, psyllium, and vegetables with skin, fruits, vegetables, and leafy greens are excellent for the gut. Plenty of water and healthy fats also help. For the gut, especially chia, fatty fish, and flaxseed, which are anti-inflammatory fats. Another important thing to remember is that sleep is very closely related to the weight loss process. The more and the better we sleep with good quality sleep, the better our metabolism tends to function. On the other hand, poor sleep can have the opposite effect, increasing cortisol levels, impairing blood sugar regulation, and making us feel hungrier the following day. This can have an impact, especially during fasting, because when we sleep poorly, we feel hungrier, make worse food choices, crave more sugar, the body stores more fat, and also, because cortisol increases, the body doesn't prioritize burning fat. On the contrary, it prioritizes retaining fat. The body is in a state of alert. It wants to keep you alive. So ideally, you should try to sleep 7 to 8 hours per night at least and make sure it's good quality sleep. I have an amazing playlist here with videos about sleep, how to improve sleep hygiene, the best and worst foods, teas, and everything else. So I'll leave that down below in the description for you. So in general terms, just so we understand, fasting works, but it's not a miracle, and not everyone needs to fast, or can even fast for that matter. People with eating disorders, pregnant women, expectant mothers, children, those with pre-existing chronic illnesses should not fast, at least not without medical or nutritional guidance. So if you have any questions, talk to your healthcare professional in your city. But remember that this video is for informational purposes only. And in fact, if you consume enough protein, control your blood sugar, have a healthy gut, maintain a caloric deficit, get adequate sleep, and stimulate your muscles, you will probably be able to create a favorable environment for weight loss, whether you fast or not. This will definitely help boost your weight loss process. Tell me which of these tips you're going to start putting into practice today. I'd love to see your comment. Leave a like on the video, it will help me a lot, and share it with anyone you think will enjoy it or who needs it. Let's expand our chain of kindness. That's what I want with the channel. See you next time. Bye.